Yo, what is up, Real Hope? Really excited to be here to show this game off for everyone. I dearly love this game. This game is amazing and everyone should play it. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing the N64 any percent version of this game. One quick thing about the different versions, all of them have their own specific tricks and glitches involved, so as the run continues on, I will kind of explain that as I go, but yeah, I guess I can jump right into it, and I guess I will count down, because timing starts as soon as I pick the first level, and we will start in 3, 2, 1, go. So, Anthill is the very first level of this game. If you blink, you're definitely going to miss it because there are two quick jumps that we're going to perform just to complete the level. The first one is off this vine here, and then the second one is up this hill, skip the fence, and then just get into the end level. So yeah, very quick level. Not much involved with that one. But yeah, between levels, definitely have to remember to press B to not save. I've done that many times where I mash the A button, and then it prompts me to save to the memory card, which is just rather annoying. Tunnels is another fairly quick level. We're just going to be skipping over pretty much growing any of the cracking open any of the seeds to create any of the plants, because that is extremely slow. So coming up here, we're gonna skip having to grow 2 plants, just get up this hill. And most of the levels really just, you know, get from point A to point B to the end of the level. There are a lot of collectibles throughout the game. As you can see, there's like grains throughout the level, but we don't really need any of those for any percent. They're kind of worthless, except for a couple levels coming up later in the run, which I will explain as I get there. Yeah, just kind of skipping over cracking seeds. Gotta watch out for the grasshoppers and the falling rubble, which can be rather annoying. We do like to slide along these walls here just to get a little bit of an extra speed boost. It's not a lot, but it does definitely help.
Oh, yeah.
The third level is going to be our very first boss level. It's going to be Council Chamber, and we're going to be fighting Thumper. Thumper is rather frightening. His screams come from the depths of hell, and they probably frightened many a kids back in the day. But yeah, it's basically just grab the super berry, because our regular berries don't hurt Thumper, and then just as we defeat Thumper, we're gonna pause, exit level, just to skip the end cutscene. Cliffside is probably one of the easiest levels. We're just going to be taking a dandelion and crack this seed and take a dandelion across the cliffside, essentially. You do have to avoid that dragonfly. It can knock you off. But basically, we're trying to just not touch the ground, because if we do, the bird that is beloved from A Bug's Life will come and eat us, which we need to save that for later in the game. And then we just, once we get past the thorns, it's just a matter of get to the exit level. Coming up, Riverbed Canyon, unfortunately. This is one of the worst levels in the game. By far one of the hardest. It's got a lot of tricks in it, and this is the first level that I'm gonna explain that there's a version exclusive glitch, kind of. Normally, we need to collect a few green plant tokens, but because this game is a little buggy, pun totally intended, we're going to exploit this mushroom seed. We're going to jump into the crack in the wall here, get stuck, and we're going to kind of like store the bounce from the mushroom and just like skip over the whole section. This one is a little more finicky because we don't really have a mushroom, although we can get one. But doing it this way, done optimally, saves like 10 to 15 seconds over grabbing another mushroom plant. And we're just gonna make our way through the rest of this level, coming up to the final wall here. We're gonna do some wall jumps here and just literally skip over everything. Unfortunately, we can't do those kind of wall jumps with any of those other walls. So it's just kind of, we have to use those other glitches and tricks to progress through that level. Bird's Nest, our second boss level. It's going to be very similar to what we did with Thumper. Except we're going to do at least a little bit of platforming in this one, which is part of a platformer. I know, shocking. And then we're going to throw super berries at the bird, but I'm also going to aim my camera up because there is a bug that is on the ground, and sometimes the super berries will lock onto that bug and just kind of eat up some of my berry throws. City Entrance is another fun level. This one, weirdly enough, the grain route in the N64 version is different from the PC and PlayStation versions, simply because there's less grain on this map, or this level, on the N64 version. So if you ever watch a PlayStation or PC run of this game, you're gonna notice that the grain route is different. And I guess I should explain that this is the first level where grain does matter, because we have to get through the first section 10 grains to get through the door, and then the second door is going to be 20 grain, and then oddly enough we're going to skip over the 30 grain door with something that's called simply 30 grain door skip. So we're just going to be running around the city trying to find warrior bugs and collecting grain to get to them. The grain route is pretty precise overall, so missing one is pretty brutal, and most times it's just going to end your run because you're going to have to go out of the way to get any extra grain. So now we've got all 20 of our grain, and then we're just going to book it over to the 30 grain door. Which on N64 does have a little bit of its own separate setup. Normally, in the other versions, we'd be going to our left and going around, but we can exploit doing some more wall jumps here, hopefully. Like I said, hopefully. There we go. And then just jump over the 30 grain door. As you can see, it can be a little finicky sometimes. It's not a perfect science, but... and then we do exit level quickly just to skip another cutscene because we don't really care. City Square, my favorite but also least favorite level. First try every time. This has a major exploitation for N64 only. When you talk to any of the bugs in this level, it'll play a cutscene. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump into each one, and I'm going to keep ground pounding. This is going to store the cutscenes that are played by each of the bugs. And when I get to the last one, I'm going to stop. Well, as you can see, it was stored, but whenever Flick goes back to just standing, I gotta find where I'm at. Oh, where am I? Goodness. I'm all turned around. There we go. When Flick goes back to standing, he, will lose the cutscene, trigger. So hopefully we can get the last couple. Like I said, I love this level for the glitch, but it is also, very finicky. Manny is very skinny. Not trying to body shame, but his hitbox is rather skinny. So if he could just have a bigger hitbox, that'd be great. And also Gypsy just kind of gets in the way and can cause just a lot of issues when you're trying to store cutscenes. Bug Bar is a fun level. We're going to be getting the gold berry here instead of the super berry. Because getting the gold berry, normally you have to take this bouncy ball all the way to the end to get the gold berry. Or go to the opposite end of where I started to get the super berry. But we can actually exploit the sides of the wall, as you could probably see, to jump into the golden berry. And then sometimes Thud will just throw like a golden berry at you, so then you'll go back to just having super berries. All that to say, Traveler's Tales was not the best at creating boss levels and making them rather good. If you've ever seen this game or Toy Story 2, the boss levels are very simplistic. Clover Forest. Another one where we have to actually collect something in the game. This is where, if you remember the movie, if I can get up this wall, this is where Flick is going to start building the imitation bird, because we know Hopper hates birds. We're also going to be using the same technique as City Square to be able to skip this cutscene, kind of. Normally, we'd be standing in place and I wouldn't be able to move about, but as you can see, I can move about. And then as Gypsy gets into the Chinese food takeout box, I'm going to pause and unpause, and it skips Manny's dialogue so we can just get the first bird piece rather quickly. And then we're just going to be making our way through the rest of this level, collecting the rest of the imitation bird pieces that are lying around. As you can see, I'm also exploiting some more like wall jumps just because the I don't know the word, but we're just exploiting the game's just overall geometry, I think is the word I'm looking for. Just to jump and get to places we shouldn't normally get to as quickly as we do. And we're going to use the cannon plant here to get up to this piece. Cannon plants can be really annoying because they can be hard to get into. And normally what we do is just like double ground pound, as you can see. I'll do it here again. To get into the cannon plant a little easier. And then get all the pieces. Almost got the bonus level. Yes. One thing that's very interesting about this game is there are bonus levels that... One of them is if you ground pound 5 enemies correctly, it'll transport you to a bonus level. And I've definitely had that happen mid-run before, where I'm just going through a run, and I ground pound one too many enemies, and I'm just teleported to a bonus level. It's funny, but also rather annoying. Tree. Definitely a run killer. You fall out of the tree, you lose your run. We're going to be talking to the Blueberry Squad. We're going to kind of be collecting them to pilot the bird at the top. And also during these cutscenes, I'm actually pressing the right C button to turn the camera, so I don't actually have to like blindly run backwards on these branches or like manually turn the camera after these cutscenes. This level also introduces one of my least favorite things that they added into this game, and I will get to that because it's at the very end of this level. I am also holding the A button it just goes through these text boxes faster. Kind of like, you know, in Pokemon games, if you don't have the fast text speed, you have to hold the A button or B button. One of the unfortunate things about the N64 version is they don't have great voice lines, whereas like the PC and the PlayStation version have good voice lines from the movies, or from the movie, I guess. Also, the swinging mechanic is not great in this game. Like, you don't get a lot of momentum off your initial jump, but you can swing back and forth on the vines to get a little more momentum, but it's just not really worth it because we get just enough to skip over the little trenches. This is the mechanic I was talking about. You have to bump into Dot to actually complete the level. I've had a few runs recently where I thought I bumped into Dot, but I didn't, and so the level doesn't complete, and you have to actually do it again if you want to complete the level. It's really annoying, and I don't like it. So, Battle Arena, another boss fight. We're going to be fighting Hopper's brother, Molt. Molt is one of the, I guess, bad guys of the movie. And here, again, we need Super Berry to affect anything. Also, one annoying thing, the audience thinks they're helping by throwing red berries at you, but those are the standard berries. They don't affect Molt, so essentially we stand under here to basically guard ourselves against getting red berried. Also, Molt's text box has a face of Hopper. Why they did that, I don't know. And then again, exit level to leave. This level. This, by far, next to Riverbed Canyon and Riverbed Flight, is the worst level. It has the highest amount of RNG in the game. First, we need the RNG of Tuck and Roll to be nice to get these 2 green tokens. And then we're going to have to rely on Hopper, of all people, to be nice. We're going to be essentially getting a berry shooter. Normally, to do it correctly, we need one that shoots straight up. That's not what I wanted. Get rid of that. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it wasn't changing. I guess it wasn't in the right direction. We're gonna get our... Whoops. We're gonna be getting our berry shooter token here. Like I said, normally to beat this level, you want one that shoots directly upwards, and that would require getting a few more berry shooter tokens. But we can actually use this one, and if Hopper is nice and isn't the worst, we're gonna turn this around. We're gonna look up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So after 9 hits, there we go. We can go talk to Princess Ada. Again, you have to actually go and bump into Princess Ada. I know, kind of rude, but that's how the level gets completed. If you don't, the level doesn't complete, unfortunately. Which, yes, I've had the same thing happen where I got too ahead of myself to actually beat the level. Riverbed Flight. This is a lot of beginners' least favorite level. So you have to collect these grains to go fast. But if you die and you don't exit the level, you start from the beginning of the level, and the grains don't respawn. So it's overall just it's a nightmare for beginner runners for sure. The draw distance on the N64 version is abysmal. So it's kind of like you have to memorize where the enemies are and what's on the ground, because every little pebble, every little feather can just eat your momentum. And Hopper is also chasing you, and he wants to kill you. So not only can the enemies hurt you, but Hopper is chasing you, wanting to hurt you as well. So there's a lot of things to have to avoid. Obviously, you want to collect as many grains as possible and get to the end here.
Oh yeah.
All right, coming up to the final level, Canyon Showdown. I love this boss. This boss fight was actually a good one that they made. Compared to Toy Story 2's final boss, this one is so much better. To start out, we're gonna do kind of a precise jump. Stick jump. To get over to a super berry, because all bosses require super berry to be hurt instead of our normal standard berry. This boss fight goes in 3 phases. So Hopper is over here. We're gonna kind of lock our camera so we can kind of just, if he does anything funky, we can be aimed at him. So that's phase 1, pretty simple. Phase 2 requires a little more platforming and enemy dodging. So hopefully the platforming and the enemy dodging goes well. We kind of have, whoops. We kind of just gotta chase Hopper down. He goes in the same position every time, so where he's at is not random. Also, don't want to die. Not that dying loses a lot of time, it's just rather annoying. So we're just gonna be meeting Hopper where he's at. Fell again. Which is fine, we can... also, the rain texture, great. And then this will be the end of phase 2. Just chasing Hopper down. In phase 3, we're gonna be going up to the top of this little cliff mountain. And again, we're just chasing Hopper down. He's gonna stop at various points. And we also have to dodge more grasshoppers that are around so we don't die. Just making our way. So time will be coming up here rather quickly. After this, we're gonna go all the way to the top and then just mash down Hopper, and then he will be unalived.
You're mine, Ant.
So time will be coming up once I get the final hit. And time.
Help me! Help me!
And Hopper is now best friends with that bird. He is done for. So that was A Bug's Life Any Percent for the N64 in a nutshell. I would highly recommend learning this game or just playing this game casually on PlayStation, N64, PC. This game is great. The run is rather short, pretty easy to learn. So yeah, that is it for me. Thank you so much for allowing me to show off this wonderful game. I really do appreciate it. And shout outs to the Bug community for always being super supportive. And they have a great Discord that you can join and talk about A Bug's Life. So that'll be it for me.
Would you mind if I worked in a shout out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Shout out to Spaghetti D for $5. Grain on the brain. Good luck, Thermal.
Yo, let's go, Spaghetti. Shout out to you.